Lynn, I spent my entire first paycheck on this necklace. It's for your birthday. Don't worry that the ruby is too small. I'll work harder from now on and get you a much bigger one. Chloe looked at me with sincerity, holding out a black velvet box with both hands. I jumped back in shock. Grabbing the corner of a table to steady myself, I looked around and realized I was back at my birthday party. My family and friends were all looking at me with concern, totally confused. I ran back to my room, my face pale. I checked my reflection over and over, confirming my skin was clear and my pupils were dark, before collapsing to the floor with a long sigh of relief. In my previous life, after I put on the necklace Chloe gave me, dark brown scales started growing on my skin, starting on my stomach. My pupils turned into golden slits. Everyone around me really did start avoiding me like the plague. Chloe was a student I'd sponsored for 10 years, from a poor village out in the mountains. I not only paid for her high school and college, but I also got her an internship at my family's company. When she first came to the city, she had nowhere to stay, so I even let her live with me. I drove her to and from work every day and treated her like my own sister. Chloe was incredibly grateful to me. When she said she'd spent her whole first paycheck on my gift, I was moved beyond words. I completely ignored my other friends who were teasing me, saying I'd never wear such cheap-looking jewelry. Even though the necklace only had a tiny, fake ruby the size of my pinky nail, and you could tell at a glance it was worthless, I thought it was the thought that counted, so I wore it every day. But soon my body started changing. It began around my navel. My skin became dry and itchy, and then faint, white, scale-like patterns appeared. I slathered myself in expensive moisturizer day and night, but it couldn't stop the itching and the patterns from spreading. By the time the bizarre skin condition covered my entire body, even the most renowned dermatology experts couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was afraid of scaring my husband and son, so I didn't dare go home. I checked into a hotel and worked remotely. But on Thanksgiving, Chloe suddenly showed up at the hotel with a group of my relatives and friends. When they saw my face covered in dark brown scales, they were so terrified they called the police. I was taken away by a biological research facility. Footage of me from their experiments was leaked online, causing a massive uproar. My family was interviewed. My husband, Leo, said I was a vicious person and must have done something terrible to end up like that. My son, Charlie, cried, saying I was a snake monster and not his mother. Chloe held my child protectively in her arms, and on the hand she used to hold Leo's, she wore a huge diamond ring. On the day of their wedding, I escaped from the research facility, only to be captured by a circus that had been lying in wait. Because I refused to cooperate with their twisted human snake act, I was beaten to death. Just before I died, I learned the source of all my misfortune. Chloe resented that life was unfair. She was jealous that I was beautiful, came from a wealthy family, and had a happy life. So she gave me the gemstone necklace, letting it suck away my life force and transfer it to her. After I was taken away by the research facility, she successfully took my place, becoming Leo's wife and my child's mother. She stole the happy life that should have been mine, and left me to die a violent death. Every blow from the club, every lash from the whip at the circus in my past life, was still seared into my mind, a gut-wrenching pain. The memories filled my eyes with a burning hatred, and I nearly ground my teeth to dust. Ling. Chloe knocked on the bathroom door. What's wrong? Are you okay? I smoothed out my dress, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. Chloe stood outside, her face a mask of concern, the urgency in her eyes looking completely genuine. Who could have guessed the venomous heart hiding beneath that exterior? Lynn, there's a mirror right here. Let me help you put the necklace on. She opened the box and moved to place the chain around my neck. I spun around abruptly, dodging her touch. Just put it back in the box. I'll try it on later when I have time. Chloe's fingertips, clutching the necklace, turned white. Her eyes suddenly reddened. Lynn, I went all the way back to my hometown to have a master bless this necklace for you. The gift might be small, but the sentiment is priceless. You've probably never worn such tacky jewelry, so I get it if you look down on it. But I spent every last penny I had on this gift for you, just to thank you for everything you've done for me, everything I'd done for her, and this is how she repays me? I scoffed internally. In the past, whenever she'd play the victim, I just brushed it off as her being young and emotional. But being reborn, I could see right through her. I wasn't going to fall for her act this time. My family and friends in the living room, noticing I'd been gone for a while, started walking toward the bathroom. I deliberately raised my voice and looked at Chloe with a hurt expression. Chloe, what are you saying? I've supported you for 10 years. I spent tens of thousands of dollars to get you out of that remote village. I even arranged an internship for you at my company. I never asked for anything in return for all that. You're just starting out in the real world. How could you be so reckless with the little money you've earned? Do you think that's what I wanted when I supported you? And now you think I'm looking down on you? I'm so disappointed. Was all the money I spent on your education a complete waste? The more I spoke, the more worked up I got, my eyes even turning red. Everyone knew how much money and effort I'd poured into helping Chloe. Hearing this, they immediately started criticizing her. Chloe, we've all seen how much Lynn has done for you over the years. How could you think that about her? Yeah. When you failed to get into college, she supported you for 3 years while you reapplied. When you finally got into a state school, she paid tens of thousands in tuition without blinking an eye. Have you forgotten all that? Lynn's only this upset because you're being immature. She wants you to spend your money wisely, not on frivolous things like this. Besides, what costs you your entire savings is nothing to her. Why not use that money to get on your own 2 feet? You could rent your own place instead of crashing at Lynn's. Wouldn't that be more practical? For years, my friends and family never understood why I went so over the top to help Chloe. So now, one by one, their comments turned into a lecture, all of them looking down on her behavior. After Chloe got into that second-rate college, she had no intention of getting a part-time job. She just kept asking me for tuition and living expenses. She didn't even try in her classes and couldn't find an internship, so she ended up doing grunt work at my company. Despite being so lucky and having me look out for her, she was always complaining about her lot in life, saying she didn't have good parents. Then she'd turn around and tell me I was like a second mother to her, and that she'd repay me one day. Over time, everyone around me realized she was two-faced and had no respect for her. Being called out by everyone, Chloe's face darkened. But she quickly hid her displeasure, clutching the necklace tightly as she apologized to me. I'm sorry, Lynn. I was being petty and misunderstood you. I'll put the necklace back in the box. I hope you can wear it every day. After all, it was blessed by a master 1,000 times. It will bring you great luck. What a blatant lie. My anger flared, and I wanted to smash that piece of junk in her face and throw her out on the street. But that would be letting her off too easy. The more she made me suffer in my past life, the harsher her punishment would be in this one. I smiled gently and smoothed things over for her. Everyone, don't be so hard on her. She's just a young girl, and she meant well. I'll try it on later when I have time, see which outfit it goes best with. Chloe's eyes lit up. She quickly put the necklace back in the box, pushed it into my hands, and playfully begged me to wear it to the office tomorrow. I ignored her, casually setting the gift aside, and went back to entertaining my guests. After everyone had eaten and the party was over, I finally took out the necklace. I took videos and photos of it from every angle and sent them to the custom jewelry studio I'd worked with for years, asking them to rush me a replica overnight. I ground the original necklace into a fine powder, put it in a bag, and buried it in the garden. For the next few days, Chloe came to see me every morning as I was getting dressed, asking why I wasn't wearing the necklace she gave me. One day, I pretended to give in to her nagging and finally put the necklace on. And I never took it off. She looked at me and gushed. Lynn, red is so your color. It makes you glow. I can tell something good is about to happen to you. I just scratched my arm and said the weather must be getting dry lately because my skin felt really itchy. In the mirror, I could see Chloe struggling to hide a smile, thinking the necklace was starting to drain my life force. Little did she know, the trap I'd set for her was just getting started. Meanwhile, my husband, Leo, came back from a business trip. He was all over me, saying he was sorry he missed my birthday and wanted to make it up to me. I pushed him away and said coolly, I'm exhausted from work. Let's just go to sleep. Oh, by the way, I'm taking Charlie to my parents' house tomorrow. Tell the nanny she doesn't need to cook for us." With that, I turned over and pretended to sleep, watching through half-closed eyes as Leo sneakily pulled out his phone to text someone. The next morning, I left with my son. After dropping Charlie off at my parents' place, I got back in the car and pulled up the feed from the new security cameras I'd had installed at home. I watched as Leo told the nanny she didn't have to cook for the next couple of days and gave her time off. Not long after, Chloe, who was supposed to be at the office, snuck back into the house. Sparks flew between them. They were all over each other before they even closed the front door properly. Leo fumbled with Chloe's clothes. She shot him a sultry look, her eyes smoldering. "Not so fast, Leo. Let's make this a little more exciting." With that, she walked into my closet and changed into one of my silk slip dresses. When Leo walked into the closet and saw her in that fiery red dress, his eyes practically lit up with fire. "Same dress, but it looks so much sexier on you than it does on that old hag." Chloe peeled off his jacket, and they fell into an embrace. "The only thing she has on me is being born rich. What else has she got that I don't?" Leo agreed enthusiastically as they tangled together, wrinkling my dress. Watching the monitor, my hands were clenched so tight my knuckles were white. My whole body was shaking. Those two bastards. After their passion subsided, Leo asked, "How's it going with the necklace?" "I haven't noticed any changes in her." Chloe nestled against him, frowned in confusion. "It's probably because she doesn't wear it every day." "I know, I'll grind the necklace into a powder and mix it into her moisturizer to speed things up. But don't worry, her skin is already reacting. It won't be long before I can drain all her luck and take everything that's hers." Chloe's expression was dark and crazed, as if she could already see my tragic end and her own happy future. Hearing that, I got an idea. After the two of them finished their business and left, I immediately went home and dug up the necklace powder I'd buried in the garden. Then I had the jewelry studio make a new necklace with a much larger gemstone and mixed the powder into it. I told Leo the first had to go on a business trip and that he should pick up the new necklace and give it to Chloe as a graduation present. When I watched them together on the security cameras, Chloe was wearing the necklace constantly. I smiled, relieved. Half a month later, I came home, dragging my suitcase and pretending to be exhausted. The moment I opened the door, I heard the nanny scream. I saw her trembling, pointing at the dark brown scales scattered on the living room floor. And there was Chloe, standing in the hallway, her bare arms covered in the exact same things. "Chloe, is this some new kind of skincare routine? You've made yourself look like a snake. You scared the nanny." I reached out to pick at one of the scales on her arm, and she yelped in pain, pulling away. The nanny picked one up off the floor and saw there was a yellow slime on it. "Oh my God. This is disgusting. Chloe, do you have some kind of skin disease? Is it contagious?" She immediately grabbed a bottle of disinfectant and started spraying it frantically at Chloe. Chloe's face darkened, and she glared at me like a viper. "Lynn, why were you gone for so long? The seasons are changing. Hasn't your skin been acting up at all?" I feigned realization, then lifted my long sleeve to show some faint dark marks. "How did you know? My skin has been so dry and itchy." Seeing the marks on me, Chloe visibly relaxed. "Me too. That's why I've been using a special ointment." I reached for her hand again, my voice full of concern. "This ointment of yours is pretty gross, and it has a fishy smell. Are you sure it won't make your skin worse? You don't want to ruin your face. You're not a natural beauty to begin with, so what will you do if your skin goes bad too? At your age, you should be getting all dressed up and finding a boyfriend, right?" Provoked by my words, Chloe waited until I was asleep that night and stole the fake replica necklace. She thought she was mixing the necklace powder into my moisturizer according to her plan, but I'd already seen everything on the security cameras. I pretended my skin was getting drier and itchier, using more and more of the moisturizer. Chloe watched me, barely able to contain her smile. One day, while I was out with my son and the nanny, Chloe cornered Leo, who had been avoiding her for days. "Leo, why are you avoiding me?" He flinched when her cold hand touched him, jumping back 3 feet. "Look at you. You're covered in scales, like some kind of poisonous snake. It's terrifying. Stay away from me." A vicious look flashed in Chloe's eyes and she shrieked. How dare you be disgusted by me? I only did this so we could be together. Leo shoved her to the ground in frustration and looked down at her. You're a twisted person, and now you're getting what you deserve. You did all of this out of jealousy. What does it have to do with me? With that, Leo left the house and rushed to find me. He showed up with our son's favorite ice cream, smiling obsequiously as he tried to take my hand. We haven't had a family day in so long. I yanked my hand away, not caring about his pride in front of our son. Don't touch me with your filthy hands. I turned and walked away with Charlie, determined to get him away from the poison of those two scumbags. Next, it was time to clean house. When I got home, Chloe rushed out of her room, covering her face and screaming at me. Lynn, why isn't it working on you? Why am I the one growing scales? I tilted my head, pausing for a moment before answering. Oh, you mean this? I rolled up my sleeves, showing her my perfectly smooth, clear arms. Not a single mark on them. Charlie was just playing around before. He stuck some of his snakeskin stickers on me. It took a few washes to get them off, and my skin was itchy for a while, but it's all better now. Chloe's eyes widened in disbelief. How is that possible? How can you be perfectly fine? She reached out with her hard, scaly hands to pull at my collar, only to find my neck was bare. The necklace? Where's the necklace I gave you? Weren't you wearing it every day? I touched my empty neck, pretending to think. You mean that necklace? Didn't I tell you it's the thought that counts? I explained with a smile. So, to surprise you, I had the necklace you gave me melted down and set into that new necklace you're wearing. It was my graduation gift to you. I really racked my brain for that one. You like it, don't you? You wear it every day. As Chloe listened, her face turned ashen, making the dark scales on her face look even more grotesque. She fumbled to take the necklace off, frantically trying to force it around my neck. Lynn, you can't do that. I told you it was a gift from my heart to yours. What does it mean if you give it back to me? Here, take it back and wear it. I dodged her, pushing her away with a look of disgust. I melted your sentiment into mine. Doesn't that show that our sisterly hearts are connected? Besides, Chloe, don't get so close. That ointment you're wearing smells awful, like snake venom. A vicious glint appeared in Chloe's eyes, and she lunged at me, trying to force the necklace on me. Put the necklace on. She chanted like a madwoman. I saw her pupils had turned into golden slits, exactly like a viper's. Just then, her cold hands grabbed me, and I let out a terrified scream. What's going on? Ah, what is that thing? It was Leo. He was back. Startled by the third voice, Chloe flinched, instinctively trying to hide her horrifying, serpentine form. But then she remembered Leo was on her side. Her snake-like eyes widened as she ordered him, Leo, quick, grab her so we can put the necklace on her. But seeing the scale-covered woman with golden slit eyes, Leo was already so scared he'd collapse to the floor. While Chloe was distracted, I pulled a stun gun out of my purse and jabbed it into her side. Arr! Chloe cried out in pain. Her mouth opened wide, revealing a forked tongue. She had completely transformed into a snake-like creature. Fighting back my fear, I held down the button on the stun gun, pressing it hard against her until she went limp and fell to the ground. The commotion was so loud that our neighbors came running over to see what was wrong. I looked at Chloe, passed out face down on the floor, and told the neighbors we had a burglar. Amid a chorus of gasps, Chloe suddenly stirred. She groaned in pain, clutching her head as she struggled to get up. You dare to hit me. The moment she turned her face, everyone saw the terrifying black scales covering it. Ah, that's horrifying. My God, what is that monster? Wait a minute. Doesn't that thing look like Chloe, the girl who lives here? What happened to her face? What, Chloe? That's clearly a snake demon. Look at the disgusting slime dripping from the scales on her face. Oh God, what if it's poisonous? Everyone stay back. Someone call the police to take her away. Realizing she was exposed to so many stares, Chloe frantically tried to cover herself with her clothes. I held up the stun gun to keep her at a distance while I explained to the neighbors. I found this thing sneaking around my house. I can't believe it's Chloe. I pointed to the necklace in Chloe's hand, sealing her fate. Look, she's even holding my jewelry. Chloe, I supported you for 10 years. I treated you like my own sister. Wasn't that enough for you? The neighborhood women, who all knew I'd taken her in, grew more and more furious as they listened. They helped me kick Chloe out of the house. I took out a special lock, one that could only be opened by the person who set the combination. I locked the necklace around Chloe's neck, a smirk on my face. Chloe, anything you've used is tainted to me. Since you covet my jewelry so much, it's yours. May you and this necklace never be parted. Chloe was too weak from the taser to fight back. The sight of her being scorned and chased away like a stray dog was filmed by the neighbors and posted online. Now you can have a little taste of the suffering I went through in my past life. But it's not nearly enough. The online outrage against her died down quickly, and since no one could find her, people gradually forgot about the strange incident. I hired a private investigator to track Chloe's movements while I made my way to the mountainous region in the southwest. After a difficult search, I finally found the temple where Chloe claimed to have gotten the necklace blessed. But no one at the temple would admit to ever handling such an object. I stayed there for a few days, and just as I was about to give up and leave, a ragged old man stopped me. "Miss, you seem to carry the scent of our sex snake curse." I was startled and crouched down to look at the old man at my feet. His skin was normal, with no signs of any snake transformation. The old man's face, hidden by his white hair, broke into a smile. He pulled something from his tattered pocket and held it out to me. It was a blood-red gemstone. My heart pounded. "Sir, did you place this snake curse on me?" The old man shook his head, his voice low. "Rest assured, miss. You are not cursed. But you have been in contact with someone who has undergone the snake transformation." I calmed myself and asked about the origin of this dark magic. The old man sighed. "The snake curse is not dark magic. It is a protective sorcery used by the most ancient snake-catching clan in the Southwest. Our clan's shaman condenses the blood of venomous snakes into these crystals to protect our people from all poisons. But someone in the clan with evil intentions has used it for another purpose, placing the snake curse on others to drain their life force and transfer it to the caster." I sneered, chilled by the depth of Chloe's scheme. I told the old man the whole story and asked for his help in finding a way to protect others from being harmed by contact with Chloe. He fumbled in his ragged pocket for a moment, and then handed me a small, brown paper packet. "The next time you see this person, sprinkle this powder on the crystal. The snake curse will be broken." When I returned home from the Southwest, I was greeted by the sight of Leo on one knee. He held a large bouquet of roses in one hand and a lavish box in the other, which he opened. Inside lay an exquisite ruby bracelet. I feigned confusion. "What are you doing?" Leo shoved the flowers into my arms without a word and carefully took out the bracelet, intending to put it on my wrist. "Honey, I was so busy with work lately that I missed your birthday. I should have given you this gift a long time ago." I pulled my hand back and took 2 steps away, throwing the flowers directly in his face. "Really? Then you should also know I don't wear cheap things. What's the purity of the rubies on this bracelet? Where are they from? Show me the certificate of authenticity." Leo, not expecting me to suddenly care about such things, panicked. "Oh honey, this..." I didn't have the patience for his nonsense and cut straight to the chase. "Stop pretending. Chloe gave this to you, didn't she? I already know what kind of trick is inside. Since you and that monster Chloe are so inseparable, I wish you a long and happy life together." With that, I pulled out the divorce papers I'd prepared and slapped them across his face. Leo's lips turned white as he stared at the divorce agreement, which left him with nothing. He gritted his teeth and said, "On what grounds? I'm not signing." I scoffed, throwing screenshots of his affair with Chloe on the floor. I then stepped on the photos and looked down on him. "On the grounds that you were a charity case for the Lin family, and everything you have, my family gave you. You're filthy, and I don't want you anymore. As our prenup states, the party at fault gets nothing. Now get out." The private investigator had already told me that Leo and Chloe had met up again while I was away, which is why he was so eager to give me the bracelet as soon as I got back. Meanwhile, Chloe was hiding in her dorm room, waiting for my luck to be transferred to her after I put on the bracelet, so she could regain her appearance or even become more beautiful. Back home, I had the nanny throw out all of Leo's things. Then, without wasting a moment, I rushed to Chloe's university. I submitted the evidence of Chloe and Leo's affair to the dean's office and filed a formal complaint about her misconduct. At the same time, I posted all the records of their affair and their plot to harm me online. Public opinion exploded. The dean, seeing the incident blow up into a national news story, took me to Chloe's dorm. Chloe was on her bed, wrapped up in a thick blanket, refusing to show her face. Her roommates took the opportunity to complain to the dean. This Chloe has been skipping class for over 2 weeks. She never leaves the room, not even to eat. You say she's not eating? Snacks have been going missing from the room every day. It must be her stealing them. Professor, Chloe doesn't even shower. She just lies in bed all day. Look, her bed stinks, and there's some kind of liquid leaking out. It's so unhygienic. We want her kicked out. Surrounded by accusations, Chloe still refused to show herself, her voice muffled by the blanket. What's it to you if I don't leave my room? What the hell does it matter if I don't go to class? Get lost. All of you get lost. The dean's face visibly hardened. He reprimanded her sharply. Chloe, get out here right now. Your actions have severely damaged the university's reputation. We are formally expelling you. Hiding under the covers, Chloe screamed in disbelief. What? Why are you expelling me? I gave Chloe's roommates a look, and on the count of 3, we rushed forward and ripped the blanket off her. Chloe, dressed in a long-sleeved hoodie and sweatpants, shrieked and instinctively reached out to grab the blanket back. In those few seconds, her viper-like golden pupils and the scales leaking yellow pus were completely exposed. Ah! A snake monster! The dorm room erupted in screams and chaos. Seeing that I had led the charge to expose her, Chloe flew into a rage. She opened her mouth, flicking her forked tongue as she lunged at me. Lynn, you bitch. This is all your fault. I was prepared. I swung the stun gun at her neck. Chloe, already weak from lack of food, collapsed to the floor, panting and glaring at me with those terrifying eyes. The crowd of onlookers recognized Chloe as the snake monster from the recent trending news and gasped. So Chloe is that ungrateful student who was caught stealing. She repaid kindness with hatred. Turning into this is just karma. Serves her right. Not only does she steal things, she steals husbands. And after Lynn supported her for 10 years, she has no conscience. It's scum like her that gives sponsored students a bad name. One bad apple spoils the bunch. She's despicable. Chloe struggled to prop herself up, the ruby necklace around her neck glowing with a bloody light. She glared at the people surrounding her, her hateful gaze finally settling on me. You just got lucky being born rich. If it weren't for your family's money, do you think Leo would have ever married you? We're the ones from the same background, a perfect match made in heaven. Why should I have to rely on your charity for everything I own? Life is so unfair, so I decided to change my fate. And all of you, you're just her little sycophants because she has money. You're the disgusting ones. Ugh. Chloe's attempt to blame everyone else ignited their fury. The students she'd insulted rushed forward to attack her. While Chloe was being beaten, I took the opportunity to pull out the powder the old man had given me and sprinkled it onto the exposed ruby. Arg! A blood-curdling scream escaped Chloe's throat. Her eyes rolled back, and she passed out. The curse on Chloe was broken, but her body could not be restored. Her snake-like appearance and her actions quickly became headline news. The story was so sensational that the biological research facility came to the university and took her away immediately. As I was reading the news, a message popped up on my phone. It was from my lawyer, informing me that the divorce proceedings had been initiated. After receiving the notice, Leo, who had been waiting outside our neighborhood, finally tracked me down at my parents' house. He fell to his knees in front of my parents and my son, Charlie, bowing his head to the ground and begging for forgiveness. I saw this as I was getting out of my car and immediately ran over to shield my family, shouting for security to get rid of him. Leo grabbed my leg, snot and tears streaming down his face as he cried, "Lynn, how can you just throw away 10 years of marriage like it's nothing? Even if you don't care about our past, think about our son. Charlie can't grow up without a father." He then tried to reach for our child. I remembered how, in my past life, when my body started changing, he was the one who called the research facility to take me away before turning around and marrying Chloe. I gritted my teeth. Without mercy, I kicked him away and sneered. Did you think about our son when you were screwing Chloe? Did you think about our past when you were plotting how to kill me? I turned and picked up my son, looking down at the pathetic man on the ground. You want to be a father now? Too bad. You're a sterile piece of trash. Charlie was conceived through IVF. I used sperm from a donor bank. He has absolutely no biological connection to you. Leo's face went completely gray, his eyes wide with shock. Just then, security arrived and started dragging him away. Leo struggled wildly, shouting, "Lynn, your family are all good people. You supported me for so many years. You can't just watch me die. Give me some money, please, don't be so ruthless. I'm begging you." He started kowtowing frantically to my parents. My parents couldn't bear to watch and turned away, tugging on my sleeve and shaking their heads. I handed Charlie to my parents and told them to go inside. Then I walked over to Leo, squatted down, and said softly, "I'm not giving you a single cent. But I do happen to know of a circus that's in desperate need of a snake person performer. The pay is excellent." Leo stared at me for a second, and then his eyes lit up. I pulled out the circus's contact information and threw it at him. Leo snatched up the card and left, bowing and scraping with gratitude. Later, I heard that Leo somehow managed to get Chloe out of the research facility, but he immediately turned around and sold her to the circus. He never got to spend the large sum of money he received. His body began to rot, covered in oozing sores. The old man had told me that anyone who had close contact with a person under the snake curse would also be infected with its venom. After sleeping together so many times, Leo was already terminally ill. The last time I heard any news about him, it was his obituary. They said that when he died, his body was completely decomposed, with black blood seeping from every pore. I was on a business trip in Southeast Asia when I got the news. I happened to be walking past a poster for a circus. Among the various sensational, bizarre attractions, there was a woman covered in dark brown snake scales. I looked closer and realized it was Chloe. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Wicked people always get what they deserve. The end.